everybody, and welcome to another Just Enough Heshy show. Anyways, can you hear me, Sawyer?
I can hear you
Good.
now.
I'm happy you hear me. Anyways, you look so pretty today.
Aww.
You do. I like the...
it's getting old.
I am getting old. Also, how are you, my delicious, good-looking, wonderful, smart, legal advisor, Ezra Levy?
I'm fine. What's with all compliments?
Because
He wants
I might
something.
need you
Some
this
free
week
legal
again.
advice.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Anyways,
I thought he had you on retainer.
we do.
does, but,
see, now
ran out of funds.
Right, now my headset's working. Today we're going to change the program a little bit. You look how Sawyer's looking at me. She's shocked. Don't be shocked. Today we're going to do our commercials in the middle of the show. The reason is
Middle of the show
because I want to start the show right away. We have a wonderful guest, a very important person, a man that not only that I follow, that I believe is an inspiration to me. You and me posted his videos, and it went viral into tens of thousands on my TikTok and Instagram and YouTubes and all that stuff. This is Pastor Pawlowski. You're going to love this guy. And Pastor, I hope you hear me and you're on the air with us, Pastor.
Yes, I can hear you
well. Thank
Pastor,
you so much for the
I
invite.
want you to know we're changing the program of the show, but I need you on the show because you're a pastor, and I need a little honorability here because my co-hosts don't really like me that much, and I want you to do something for me. I want you to just wait a minute because I always start my show, at least this much, with a quote and a joke. And this quote, I specifically... found today because of you, and I want you to listen to this because I know you like quotes, and I want you to hear this. And here it goes: he who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to participate in it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. Anyways, I believe that if you don't fight evil, you don't stand up against it, you're just one of it. And a true measure of a man, and this is you, Pastor, is how he behaves in the moments of not only in comfort and convenience, but how he stands at times of controversy and challenges. And Pastor, you are our inspiration. I've seen you stand up. I fought back, and I'm just going to love you. And Pastor, I know I was very serious now. I want you to hear a joke. You have to laugh at it. If not, it's okay. You're a holy man. Here we go. I was sitting in the living room with my wife, Linda, and we were watching television when I heard my cell phone ring, and I got up to look for it. When I found it, it was in the kitchen, and I saw a text. It was from Linda, and she says, "Please bring the chips on your way back."
Okay.
Anyways, Pastor, I have a lot of problems with my wife. She's 32 years married to me, and she loves me very much. Pastor, I want to ask. I want to introduce you my co-host Sawyer and Ezra Levy, who is a lawyer. We are so happy to have you on our show, and I want to tell people about you for one moment. That not only are you a pastor, you have a church, and I posted your video how they came illegally into your church without a warrant. They came to arrest you. You've been arrested coming off the plane. You've been arrested on the streets. You feed the poor. You have, if I'm correct, you have 35 to 40 fines or 40 arrests. You have 300 tickets under your belt. I mean, they keep coming after you. Pastor, my first and most important question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Why? Give up. You're never going to win. I mean, haven't we learned in history that evil keeps coming back? Maybe it's time just to give up. They don't stop coming after us. We try. I wear the American flag. I fight for freedom. My father was a concentration camp survivor. You came from Poland where there was fascism and communism. You ran. You came to Canada, the freest country, one of the freest countries in the world, and you started with nothing. And you finally make it. And they want to take it all away for you. Maybe it's time to give up. Maybe it's time to say, listen, man, it's not worth it. Maybe God is giving us a message. I mean, I'm asking you because you're a holy man. Hey, Pastor, stop. Let them win. It's all yours.
Well, you quoted from, if I remember correctly, from Martin Luther King Jr.
Beautiful. You are correct. Yes.
Yeah, during the time of civil rights movement. I mean, look at what happened during those freedom fighters. I mean, look at Mahatma Gandhi when he led the people for salt. I'm sure you remember when the British Empire had to bow to a man in a ragtag. And then you look at the civil rights movement in the United States of America, where the people finally said, enough, it's enough. I mean, there's more of us than of them. Why are we bowing before the pharaohs of today? And you're right. I am a Polish immigrant. Polish people are lions. We never bow before the hyenas. You see, we eat hyenas for breakfast. That's what we do. And I've never seen a lion. And I work in Africa. I started orphanages, medical clinic, churches in Africa. And I've seen lions hunt. I've seen lions roam the savannah. And I'm telling you, I've never, ever seen a lion bowing before the hyenas. So why not quit? We have this saying in our church, and here is how it goes. I'll give you another quote straight from us. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. In order to win, you have to stand up and fight. I mean, in order to win, you have to be willing to keep pushing. In the end of the day, the history, you mentioned the history. History is teaching us that in the end, the truth wins. Truth wins every time, all the time. It's just a matter of when, not if. So history is teaching us that if we stand in a ring, if we keep fighting, sooner or later the lie will collapse. A lie is like a pillar that needs to be supported by more lies, misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, fear, terror. But the truth is a pillar that stands on its own. It needs no support. It's standing strong on its own. And growing up in Poland, I learned a few things. First of all, I learned that if you don't oppose the bully will keep coming, and bully will keep stealing the sandwich that your mom made.
Yep.
In order to stop the bully, you have to say no. Also, I saw the power of unity during the solidarity movement. Of course, the history during the Nazi. I grew up in a city called Knurów, where we had a concentration camp. So I grew up playing in the bunkers of the Nazis, and I grew up learning about the concentration camps. Of course, every year when I go to Europe, I go to Auschwitz-Birkenau. And you might ask why? To remind myself what people are capable of if you don't put a stop to their power, if you don't put check into their power. Solidarity movement in Poland in 1980 showed the whole world that when the people come together, we can push this great evil away. And of course, it costs you everything. Some people died, some people got arrested, just like you and me. But some people were willing to do what's right, and it's always the right thing to do what is the right thing to do. We just have to go all the way. In the end, we win. That's why I'm fighting. I know I already won. It's just sometimes the enemy doesn't see it.
Right. Pastor, I do agree with you. And don't get me wrong, I'm with you. I go to jail, I fight, I go I hear you hug people, you kiss people. I know that you've gone to so many events, and I myself, I kept wedding halls open. I had a guy who called me today. It's his 1-year anniversary. And by the way, I want to say Mazel Tov to Yitzchak and Miri Zilber. And he says, I'm so happy I kept his wedding hall open. And I've gone to hundreds of events just to show people you go out, you fight back. But let's look back through history, like you said. Hitler, Mussolini, Genghis Khan, the Caesars. We go back constantly. They keep coming after us. New villains keep coming into effect. New guys in they wear just a different robe. And I don't know, is there a world conspiracy? I mean, it's not possible. Canada, America, and again, we're even coming up with an idea. You're not going to like this, Pastor, what I'm going to tell you, but there's in Salt Lake City, there's called the Salt Lake City Tribune Board. They demanded that the governor use the national card to keep unvaccinated people in their homes. I mean, this is a way that things are starting slowly. First, they locked down.
It's going on in Australia right now.
Yeah, Pastor.
I mean, you can't go to Australia. If you're unvaccinated, you step foot in Australia, they'll deport you and you won't be allowed back there for 3 years.
But they also lock you up in camps. I mean, Pastor, is this a worldwide thing? I agree with you. Freedom is the most important, and I'm so proud of you that you're fighting for the freedom. You're standing up, and so am I. But they keep threatening us. They keep threatening to take away our lives, and I'm willing to fight. I'm willing to go to my last breath. But Pastor, you have a flock. You have a bunch of people that rely on you and look at you. You feed hundreds of people just like I do. Once they take us out of the equation, we're finished. Those people lose. Maybe it's time to make a deal. I mean, let them win something. I mean, I disagree, but maybe that's the only way we're going to get it done. Or you say we're at the finish line. I don't see it. I just don't see it. They want us to continue to vax, to continue to boost, continue to fire people. They actually came into our restaurants and stores, and now I hear there's 300 new inspectors just in New York City that are going to attack our businesses. How do we stop them, Pastor?
Well, I'll ask you and
Hello?
everybody that is watching this
I think we lost
a very
him. Pastor?
simple question.
Yes.
Yeah. So here is the question. Where is Mussolini today? Where is Genghis Khan today? Where is Hitler today? Where are those villains of old today? They all died. They all turned into dust, and still we remain because the truth is unshakable, unmovable. Truth wins in the end. My God is bigger than their God. My God still sits on the throne. My God has the final say. I also want to say this to you. In the end of the day, we have to remember that it's my God that holds the lives of my enemies in his own hand. In other words, they live because my papi allows them to be alive. For whatever reason, he is allowing them to do what they're doing, perhaps to chastise us, perhaps to spank us a little bit, perhaps to show us, hey, you walked away from me, just like the Israelites did before, and I am wooing you to come back to me, come back to the truth, come back to the righteousness, because you have walked away from me and my laws, my statutes, my commandments. So far, the Father is calling his children to come back. And unfortunately, history also is teaching us that we are very stiff-necked and rebellious people. We don't like commandments. We don't like statutes. We don't like righteousness. So God is allowing sometimes Nebuchadnezzars to come to chastise, to spank our bums, to bring us back to sanity, because the whole world went insane for the past decade. So I see a lot of good stuff happening. Did you see what is happening right now in Britain?
I don't disagree with you.
The Britain kicked out all the mandates and restrictions right now. Have you heard about that?
No.
So we're winning.
Right, but the thing is,
How are we winning?
we're winning at
100% right. The evil people are gone. They are
that's
dead.
not true. That's not true. The evil people are gone. There's new evil people.
New evil people.
I think what Sawyer just said is actually very accurate and very scary. What Mussolini did, what Genghis Khan did, what Hitler did, was legal at the time. And what they're doing in Australia, what they're doing in New York, what they're
It's
doing
legal.
is 100% legal. It has
Illegal.
it's illegal.
Morally,
It ha-
ethically.
It is illegal. Look, finally the Supreme Court started knocking down some stuff last week. I mean, I think it was a big thing when they basically told OSHA that you have no authority to tell big businesses they have to be vaccinated.
I just want you to know, Starbucks.
I think we should do.
Even Starbucks nixed the vaccine mandate. But you know what the funny part is? I want to tell you something, guys, and I just found this out, that there's a fight in the Supreme Court that one of the Supreme Court justices...
That's been debunked.
Well, no.
That's been debunked. I know exactly what you're going to say. There's a rumor. NPR came out with a report that Justice Stoudemire has asked that Justice Gorsuch wear a
mask.
And yeah, he refused.
Pastor, you've had so many arrests. Isn't this costing you legally the battle? I mean, how do we support you? How do we help you? Because I don't want to see you go down, and I want to help you, and I want to be there for the fight. I want to be there when the day comes that we win. I want to come there and hug you.
After the
solidarity movement, when they took it to the streets and millions of Poles united in solidarity with each other against the Soviet, against communism and socialism, Poland became one of the best democracies on earth. I was able to go back there. I was able to bring my children there and show them that's where your father was born. That's where your mother was born. This is our old country. We love Poland. And look at this. look at this beautiful nation, has become one of the best democracies on earth. So when you fight, you just don't fight for yourself. You fight for the next generation. And the children, I'm telling you, children are worth fighting for. If we're not going to stand up for them, who is going to stand up for them? Also, I am a believer in God, and my God is telling me very clearly to stand up for those that have no voice, to fight for the rights of the fatherless and the orphans and the widows, to feed the poor, to preach the truth, to set the captives free. And this tyrannical government is not allowing me to do that. So I have to oppose it. I have to fight it. Let me remind you.
Pastor, it's not only your government. That's my problem here. It is the American government. It is the Canadian, the Australian, the English, the French. They're all acting crazy, these people in power. And what the problem is you're right. We have to fight for our children. But our parents, yours and mine, who fought for our freedom, my grandfathers who died, my history of the American people and even the Canadians who fought in World War I, World War II, who died for our freedom, where we're supposed to have it now. And I know you're married with 3 children. Your children deserve the freedom now, not the grandchildren. We are here now. We've built this land. I'm 58 years old, Pastor. I've come through some terrible times, from the 60s to the 70s, freedom and love and internet and crashes of the markets. The point being is we've worked it. We've made a better life for everybody. And now they want to take it away. Our governments, not people, governments. Something is wrong here.
Wait a second. Governments are only as good as the people that they serve. So, again, the problem in America, I'm assuming the same problem in Canada, is there is not enough resistance.
Yeah, Pastor. How come you don't have 500 other rabbis and pastors and imams standing with you and screaming on the street at the same time? We have that issue here too. They're all scared.
Yeah, the same thing. So here is what happened. The children were indoctrinated, and I'm talking about the age of my parents. So it started 40, 50 years ago. They were indoctrinated. The next generation was indoctrinated. Here's what we're facing. We're facing a treacherous government. We are facing, so all the pillars of society, we're facing a trouble from educational system because of indoctrination. We are facing a trouble from the political arena because of treachery. We're facing a trouble from medical profession because the doctors and the nurses are no longer saving lives, they're murdering people. Also, we have a problem with our justice system. The justice is now without justice. The judges are corrupted. So we are in trouble. You're right, we are. But here is my take. Now it's our opportunity to do what our founding fathers or forefathers did, to stand up for what's right. If we are not going to do it, who is going to do it? It's our turn to fight against tyranny. I mean, take it or leave it. We don't have a choice. We don't have an option. You can crawl and take a 5th or 6th or 7th booster and die, or you can stand up and push this evil away and say, not an inch, no more. You see, you're looking at a guy that was attacked by the biggest forces in my country, in Canada. I'm talking about premiers, I'm talking about mayors, I'm talking about chief of police, minister of justice, attorney general, judges, the top mainstream media propaganda machinery of Goebbels. They all attacked me with a huge, powerful force, like a fight between David and the giant Goliath. And yet I am still standing. I am here pushing this great evil away. If I can do it, a little me with a funny accent, if I can do it, I'm telling you, everybody can.
Because you're not soft. And the rest of us are soft, and we're used to comfort, and people don't fight like they used to years and years ago. The people that went to war and
Pastor, to me, you're a giant, and you don't have a funny accent. I think you have a very aristocratic accent, and to me, you are a giant, and you are my hero. And I'm telling you now, lately, I've been a little tired. I've been ready to give up, and even my wife says, "Stop, Heshy. They just don't want to join you." But when I hear men like you, I will never stop. I will give it to my last breath. Thank you, Pastor, for leading us, and not only leading people in your church, but in all denominations. The way I hear you talk is you are saying you're like the modern Jews and the modern people. I'm so proud of you that you accept everybody and you have no discrimination or anybody that you want to help, especially when you feed the poor and the dying. I mean, you got to tell us about that. I mean, why are they stopping you from feeding the poor and the sick and the hungry?
Because right now the fight is about who is the God of the land. I mean, nothing is new under the sun. The Word of God is telling us what happened yesterday is going to happen today. It's a repetition of history. And you're right, they were villains yesterday, and now we are facing a very similar villains during our time. So the government, let me add, a corrupted government or tyrannical government hates competition. So when I go out there and I feed the poor, I'm doing it because I love people. And you're right, I feed everyone. I don't ask questions. If you're in my lineup, that means you need our services and you're welcome to stand and come back for seconds and the thirds. As long as we have food, you're welcome to come. Yes, we have a church, we preach the gospel, but you're welcome to stay or you're welcome to continue on your journey. Grab the food and keep walking. That's your right. I love freedom, because my God is giving us freedom to choose. We can choose him, but we can also reject him. So I'm just following on the steps, of my Father, which is in heaven. So what happened with our clergymen is comfort, and they sold their souls for a bowl of soup.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yes.
For comfort and money, silver coin, once again, we know the story. They have chosen to accept the tyrants because tyrants at this moment are paying them very well. In Canada, the clergymen, the rabbis, the priests, and the pastors, they got millions of dollars to enact mandates to put people, to segregate people, to keep people socially distanced, to put the mask and muzzle on their faces. So there is a lot of money involved in this. Me, I'm not for sale. I have been offered by the city of Calgary $2 million and the land to build my church. And the only thing they required me to do is stop doing what I'm doing, which is a public ministry. And this is what they said to me. We'll give you the money. We'll give you the land. Just take it. And I said to them, so what I would have to do to get this funding? And they said nothing. When you hear the devil talking about nothing, watch your wallet, watch your legs and your arms, because you're going to lose it all, right? He's a liar.
Yes.
So they said nothing, only stop doing what you're doing. And I said, you know what? You keep your money, I'm keeping my God. And they said this, why can't you be like any other pastor? And I said to them, because I am not like any other pastor. I am not for sale. Judas Iscariot sold his master, his God. I'm not going to do the same thing. I'm not for sale. And I'm not going to exchange my inheritance, my promised land, if you will, for a bowl of soup like Esau did. The Bible says, right, the Word of God, the Old Testament says that Esau I hated, Esau I rejected. Why did God reject Esau and Isaac he accepted? Because Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup. Let me suggest something to you guys. Today what we're observing is many Esaus that are selling their faith, their families, their moral standards for a bowl of soup. Yeah. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get a booster. I'm going to play along and get along with the Nazi Party of Canada, Nazi Party of USA, just so I can get my incentives. Wow. You see, that's the problem we're facing right now, a repetition of history. Let me remind you the history in early 30s. The same thing the Nazi Party did in Germany. We have to understand that Germans, good Germans, were the first victims of the Nazi Party. The Germans that opposed Hitler, the Germans that said this is insanity, German Jews that said, no, we're not going to bow before this. Off they went to the Dachau, Buchenwald concentration camps. We have to remember that the first victims of the Nazi Party were not foreigners, were the German people. We have to understand that the Nazis, first they murdered children, 250,000 disabled people. They murdered hundreds of thousands of children. The first gas chamber Nazi Party used in a hospital, not in a concentration camp. If you know history, you know that this is a repetition. That's why we have to forcefully oppose it. And I'm not talking about guns and swords. I'm not talking about killing. I'm talking about peaceful resistance, no compliance. Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., solidarity style. You have to just say simply to those villains, no, you cannot do this to me, and get out. And listen, the video of the church you were referring to, when they invaded our church and they dared to come and break the criminal code of Canada and trespassing, when I told them get out, and it took me over 30 times, I had to tell those villains, get out of this church, get out, Nazis. Finally, they go. That's the only thing you need to do. If every restaurant owner, if every business owner, every pastor, every priest, every rabbi would do just that, no, I'm telling you, no, and get out, you Nazis, get out, you communists, get out of my place, get out of my school, get out of my parliament, get out of my White House, this whole thing would be over. We need courageous men and women. And that's what the whole story is all about. Will you rise up? Will you stand up? Martin Luther King Jr. did. Mahatma Gandhi did. Lech Wałęsa did. And people before us, they did it. You've got Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were told by the law to bow before the before the golden image. And they said, no. Nebuchadnezzar says those words to them. What kind of a God is going to rescue you from my hand? And their response, it was phenomenal. They said, either God will rescue us or not, or know this, O great king, that we shall not bow before your golden image. Off they go to the fire. But in the fire, God deals with our enemies. In the fire, he shows up. In the fire, he purifies us. In the fire, he elevates us. In the fire, we have a testimony. The whole world is watching. The whole world is looking for hope. In Canada, we have a record suicide rate ever in our nation.
Yes,
we have people depressed.
We have that too. We have that too, Pastor. Young children are committing suicide, and that's why again I rose up. I opened the parks. You know, we have our politicians that my co-host. I'm not going to like it. I have a competitor that I ran against. I was going to Mr. Kalman Yeager, and yesterday
we don't have to mention names.
And what I found
we don't have to mention names.
No, but what I found out today was not only did he make a deal with me, he actually made a deal with Ina Vinikova, one of my competitors, and he made a deal with Mr. Stapestein. I actually spoke to the people yesterday, and I found out that this backstabbing politician went to us all. And you are right, Pastor. We all have to rise up. But, again, you are still, and this is the honest truth, you're still a man. And even though how powerful of a lion of a man you are, and we love you. By the way, I posted your video today of you screaming, get out, with a video of me throwing out the health department from my soup kitchen. And I used the exact same words. Get out. I didn't use Nazi. I should have done the Nazi
I'm looking
word.
for the right word. I was going to say Heshy. Heshy, you and the pastor are not marshmallows, but I don't know about you, Heshy, but okay, the pastor is not a You're not soft. You guys are not soft, and you stand up, and you go out. Hold on, and you're willing to get arrested. And here's the thing: the pastor just addressed something. He went and said something very important. He was talking about if all the rabbis and the imams and all the leaders and all the politicians that were appointed by us, not just the religious sects of preachers and leaders, but actually politicians as well. Everybody, if everybody stood up, linked arms, stood up, and fought against this, united, they have to understand something. There's going to be multitude of arrests.
Thank you.
And people have to be willing, excuse me, you're talking about Gandhi, you're talking about all these people. these people were willing to sit in jail.
Well,
people are soft today.
Yeah, so
people
Pastor,
are not willing to sit in jail.
okay.
And if there were multitudes of arrests, there would be a significant change where it would be affecting the mandates and all the other mishagas, the craziness, that it wouldn't be able to take effect.
Okay.
Because when everybody stands up united.
We got your rant already,
No, I want to make sure you got it.
We don't got it. But
Pastor,
Pastor,
I just have one question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, if I do have one question. The video of what happened in your church during the Easter holiday obviously became international, went viral internationally. And that's how we were introduced to you. Have you gotten any more support as a result of that?
Yeah, I did. I mean, you always will have two categories of people. You will have people that hate you for what you did, and you're going to have people that will admire what you did, because in the end of the day, deep inside, everyone wants to be a hero, but not many people are willing to pay the price that heroes need to pay. So that's why the movies of Wonder Woman and, Spider-Man, Superman, and all those different movies are so popular, because deep inside, human nature desires to be a hero. But like I said, not many people are willing to pay the price. Our church is full. We've never shut down our church. It's open to the public. Anyone is willing to come. The consequences of me kicking them out, of course, were severe. I was arrested with my brother David in the middle of the highway. Then we faced criminal charges of inciting people to come to church, officiating an illegal gathering, a church service, and participating in illegal gathering, church service. And then I went to United States. I spent 4 months telling my story, waking up or doing my best to awaken the great American eagle to come to the rescue. On my arrival back from the States, I was arrested again, faced criminal charges, and then on the 1st of January 2022, I faced another arrest with my brother David and another criminal charge under our belt. So the fight is on, but you don't see me terrified. You don't see me, pulling the rest of my hair out. I mean, I value my leftover hair, so I'm not pulling it out.
Right. So I guess
and you don't see me depressed. You don't see me like, oh, what are we going to do? I got to throw a towel. No, we are in a fight. It's a war. We got to keep standing strong. We got to keep eating those hyenas for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. And that's why I'm getting bigger and bigger. And I see you're not.
So am I. I'm not as skinny. I'm pretty fluffy myself, Pastor. But Pastor, you and I, yes, we can sleep on the floor of a jail cell. We'll take it. Even though we're embarrassed over and over again, putting this in jail like criminals and murderers. How is it affecting your family? Like, you have a wife and 3 kids. Look at me. I have a wife, kids, foster kids, nephews, nieces. These people do get affected. These people are falling apart, or of course they're standing behind us, but do you think it's taking a toll on your family, or are they just lions like you, and you could try? I mean, remember, they are, even though they're your family, they still are, like, God made us all different. We still are not all the same.
Yeah, of course it affects our families. I mean, as strong as they are, it affects everything. I mean, I remortgaged my house 7 times to pay the bills for the lawyers. Many times I face difficulties when the police, Gestapo shows up in our home, flashing lights, and they are intimidating my children and my wife, bringing stupid tickets when I'm not at home, or when they show up with their police vehicles just to show to the whole neighborhood, or here is a criminal that needs to be hunted down. Yes, it does. But, for many years we have been doing this. They're strong. And when I was arrested the last time, my wife came home and she said to the kids, well, Dad got arrested again. And my kids like, oh, okay. It's the whatever.
Well, is that a good thing these days? I mean, is that...
So they're actually accepting this kind of abuse, and this really is mental health, because it's affecting our kids. It's affecting them, education-wise. You have all these crazy mandates. You have faces being covered up. You have kids confused. You have college students that are supposed to be going to college, that their classes were like, mismanaged, and everybody's doing everything Zoom. People don't want to go to work. People are afraid. It's just really mental health. And you have suicides up, and you have people murdering people not being afraid because they're being released from jail. You have so much abuse. It's like really, really scary because you don't know what's going to happen next. And I think the children are really, they don't know how they're growing up because
Pastor, how do you address the children of your congregation and of your city when you speak to them? I mean, they're not foolish. They see what's going on. Murderers are getting out, but they're arresting pastors. Robbers and rapists are getting freed, but people who are going into restaurants are getting arrested for buying hamburgers.
And you have to show cards like you're in a...
It's ridiculous. How do you talk to these children? And I know you're going to tell me, oh, we know it's a better world. How do you make sense of it to them?
Well, the thing is that around us, we have not changed. Our church is full. Children are having normal lives. We are not allowing this craziness to affect them. We hug each other. We pray for people. We have a children's school. So our children here, when they go to school and when they go outside, they see the craziness. But when they hang around with us, churchgoers and the freedom fighters during the rallies, sometimes you can't even see the difference because we hug each other. We spend time I have people in my house every single day. Literally every day someone is coming for coffee. We have lunch together with different people. We have dinners. So we live our normal life as the people that are outside of our circles that are perishing. But if you want to see what we do, go to www.streetchurch.ca, streetchurch.ca. That's the website. And if you want to contribute and help, we will be very grateful. As you know, I got to run. I have to go because it's 7:40. I promised 7:30 I will be on another show. So bless you. We can do this again maybe next week or 2 weeks from now. Let me know. Be blessed. Stay strong. And remember, you're a lion. Lions never bow before the hyenas. Keep eating them. But the very important thing for you and me, because we're getting bigger and bigger, unfortunately, we need to spread the courage around so the skinnier guys can also have their fill with the hyenas. Because if we continue the way we're eating, it's not going to be healthy for us.
I know, Pastor. And you know what? In my house, we have people every day, and in my community, we're fully open. I have every store, synagogue, church, mosque open here, and my police in my community know to leave us alone. But the rest of the city and state, unite. We're fighting, and we're going to try to get more uniting. You are wonderful. You are one of us. You are our brother, and we feel so close to you. Thank you for joining us on this show, Pastor. May God bless you every moment, every breath you take.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. You see, I don't understand you.
We didn't get into uniting, but we really do need to unite. Well, I think he was on board with that.
I know. We need to hear from Christopher Messi what he has to say. But
Chris Messi said something. Hold on. What did he say? Hold on.
Yeah, but right now we got to do our commercials quickly, Sawyer, before the show ends.
Stop. Why are you always on my back?
Because I love you. 7:42, and we're running late. We're just gonna. Let's talk about who James Meadows. What does he do?
This lovely show has been sponsored by Plaza Auto Leasing. They are not only a leasing company, but also a dealership. You get the best of both worlds. The flexibility to lease or buy any vehicle, make or model, combined with quick service, huge inventory, and easy approvals. There is no finance manager to meet with, just a friendly pal sales representative that can handle most of the transaction from start to finish without you even having to step foot in their office. All you have to do is place your order, and they will even deliver your car right to your door, just like they did for you, Heshy, huh?
Yes.
What are you waiting for? Become a pal and call Plaza Auto Leasing today. You can reach Plaza Auto Leasing at 718-975-9000. That's 718-975-9000. You can also check out their website at www.plazaautoleasing.com. Located at 2750 Nostrand Avenue on the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Avenue N. Call 718-975-9000 and become a pal today. And don't forget to tell them Uncle Heshy sent you.
You're wonderful. And what's
Aren't
next
I?
on our list? We got to go quickly. Baruch's Barbershop, no?
Baruch's Barbershop, located at 108 Avenue I. You can reach Baruch's Barbershop at 718-758-5187. That's 718-758-5187. Or call, text, or WhatsApp Baruch personally to schedule your appointment at 347-845-9131. That's 347-845-9131, the official singing barber of
Yes,
Heshy.
he gave me a wonderful haircut
Fischler.
this week. And of course, we have Ezra Levy, criminal
We have
lawyer.
Green Line Building Solutions,
Why we go-
Preservation and Development, Fire Department, Criminal Court, Department of Finance, Environmental Control Board Settlements, Building Consulting, Violation Removal, Construction Management, Owner Compliance, Contracting, License Department of Building Expediters, Designs, professionals for all your building solutions. 202 Foster Avenue. You can reach Green Line Building Solutions at 718-871-0382. I think you messed up the producer tonight, by the way,
I know,
with
but
the
it
commercial. So
looks
we're
like-
going to continue going the way I usually go
ahead.
after we finish with Green Line Building Solution,
Wow.
which is now Ezra Levy. You
Ezra
can go.
Levy.
Do you know the number by heart? Actually, you should.
I
You
do.
probably have it on speed
Right.
dial.
Go ahead.
It's probably before Linda's
Just-
number.
We have Christopher on the phone. We got to get moving.
We have
Ezra, what's your
Ezra
phone
Levy,
number?
917-755-1187. You can call him up for all your criminal weapon possessions, drug offenses, domestic violence, theft offenses, assaults, DWI, anything and everything criminal. You can reach Ezra. You can WhatsApp him, text him, 917-755-1187. What's the latest phone call you ever got, Ezra, middle of the night?
About 3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning, but that's a usual thing, no?
917 Ezra, what's your phone number, Ezra?
917-755-1187.
Ezra, can you practice in Canada if you wanted to, or they let you, or do
No,
a special license?
You need a special license.
But you could
and
go.
It's scary that as bad as it is in New York, America, it's 10 times worse up in
Wow.
Canada.
And now I'm going to say, he
Yeah,
would
it
be,
seems like the
he
pastor
would be a
has
better
zero-
client than me because I only get arrested every once in a
It's
while.
true.
This guy's every hour.
He mortgages house 7
I
times.
7 times. Wow.
I don't know
wow.
what lawyers get paid.
Well,
in
Ezra
Calgary,
takes
but-
care of criminal. We have an attorney, the attorney's office of James Meadows, who specializes in traffic. A highly ranked traffic lawyer, former criminal lawyer, dedicated to all moving violations throughout New York State. James handles all points-related moving violations in New York City, Long Island, and upstate New York, wherever you go. Speeding, red lights, cell phone, stop sign, failure to yield, and improper turns are traffic offenses with stiff penalties, including huge fines, points, increased insurance rates, suspensions of your driver's license, and even being arrested. The law office of James Meadow is your best chance of beating your traffic tickets. 845-842-5387. That's 845-842-5387. Or my favorite, 845-TICKETS.
By the way, he's located at 306 Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. And
Oh,
he
that's
also
right here,
has-
like 20 minutes away.
Yeah, he has 917 number, 856-1247. It's on your screen.
Say that again?
917-856-1247. And he's located here. You could get him here. I'm telling you, this man you really need right now because
That's
I
his
saw
cell
the cops.
number?
Yeah, the cops are coming out there and starting to pull over tickets.
Oh,
against the
wow.
stupid-
So
yeah.
that's really awesome. You
Yeah.
could just literally send him a
Are we
picture.
done? Are we done yet?
No, we're not done.
We're done.
We're not
We're
done.
done. We got Christopher Messi.
We
on the
have
phone.
Traveler's Choice.
No, we
Joseph
don't.
and the Borough Lifer.
Oh, we do?
International and local travel, car, rental, hotel, everything. 212-868-8698. That's 212-868-8698. If you want to go to Florida, California, somewhere warm, Traveler's Choice is your only choice for travel.
Linda doesn't let me go.
I
Linda
keep
doesn't let me go.
dropping hints.
By the
Somebody
way-
to get me
by the way,
tickets.
next week is my birthday and Mira Nava's birthday, and I promised her an elephant. And my son called me today. He says, "You better buy her an elephant."
Doing one more quick commercial. Attorney Office of Abraham Hoshander for all your closing and contractual needs. 347-435-3402. That's 347-435-3402.
Can you get Christopher on the phone already? For God's sakes,
He's on the phone.
put him on. I don't see him. Christopher. There's no. I don't have him. Please don't hang up on.
There we go.
Christopher, can you hear us?
How you guys doing? Absolutely. The pastor's the bomb.
Wow.
Calgary's lucky to have him.
Did you see how many arrests and what they're doing to this man and punishment? I mean,
They're insane.
how do we let this
They're
go on?
insane.
I mean, are they crazy? Don't they
It's
see?
what I tell all my Canadian friends and all my Australian friends. I said, do you understand the Second Amendment yet? Do you get it yet?
You know what? I didn't agree with you, Christopher, till now, but what I saw happened in Texas last week, you know what happened in Texas, right, with the synagogue?
Right, exactly.
I mean, that's you were
madness.
right.
I was watching that unfold in real time. That guy would have hit the floor with 8 bullets in his head if he walked into my synagogue.
Wow.
Well, thankfully he did get a couple of bullets thanks to the law enforcement.
But
Yeah, but it was pure luck. There were only 4 people there,
Right,
and
true.
the rabbi made some noise. About we had crisis training. I threw a chair at him. You threw a chair at a maniac with a gun. You're lucky you're alive.
We should be lucky. We should be lucky that the commissioner and our mayor did not send in their commissioner and their mayor didn't send in a social worker.
Yeah. But you know what? They believe, the FBI says that they believe that the synagogue hostage siege was not an act of terrorism.
It was not an act of
And
anti-Semitism either.
It should not be compared to
it's
actual
nonsense.
acts of domestic terror. I mean, you believe that, really?
It is insane. Absolutely insane. I'm a part of a men's Torah group every Monday, and luckily everyone thinks correctly. But occasionally we come across a liberal lunatic who's like, I don't like guns. I said, well, you know what? If you didn't have a gun, you're going to find yourself begging for compassion and relief from someone who has neither. So I don't know what it's going to take for people to wake up in this country.
Wasn't his
I really
sister
don't.
involved with like 9/11?
Yeah, it's
Like, how could that
No,
not
she was-
even be an
whether it
act?
was,
Serving
I don't know if it was his
86
sister.
years
Right,
She's this
so-
woman that tried to kill Americans. She's serving time in a federal prison
86
in
years.
Texas.
86 years.
Yeah, crazy.
She's-
86 years. She's a maniac.
But I want to
Right.
ask you
evil, evil, evil woman.
But Christopher, you heard about this Salt Lake City Tribune editorial board that demands that the governor use National Guard to keep unvaccinated people at home? I mean, do they actually print it and telling them? I mean, thank God the government thinks it's stupid. But, I mean, they even bring up such suggestion, all these people. That means it's starting. It's actually starting in states that they're actually
course it
thinking
is.
of doing it.
And the horrifying thing is, I'm not the only one, but I wrote an essay which was published on March 30th of 2020 that predicted all of this. And we are now 680 days into 15 days to slow the spread. And the pricks who put together the Excelsior Pass or whatever is in New York, they're already talking about using that for other things.
Well,
So now they got this great tracking device on your phone.
That's
Now we're
exactly
going to, what next? Did you get a flu shot? It is insanity that people outside of Florida are allowing this to happen to themselves. It's
I know.
insane.
And they're telling me again, and I promise you, I was in the hospital today. I had to go to a funeral today. And I promise you, we do not have overloaded beds. I don't know why all the hospitals are saying we're overloaded and we're dying all over. Even my son went to the hospital today with my daughter-in-law, and there was no overload of people. They're doing elective surgeries.
Did any of you have the Omicron?
I'm trying to
Yeah.
get it.
I had it, and I had the flu the year before Corona started. I had the flu. And I could tell you this right now, the flu was much worse, way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse.
I don't know.
I had like really super high. This I had, the Omicron, I had low-grade fever.
I didn't even have fever.
But Christopher,
So I actually had a great conversation with a friend in D.C. who said, look, Fauci funded the gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab. That is not proven. Freedom of Information Act, the documents came out. DARPA passed on this project because guess what? The people in charge of violent weaponization of things, they thought the risks were too high. So then we passed it over to this knucklehead Fauci who funded it. And I'm raising a novel complaint that if Fauci wanted to create a really, really virulent disease, he failed mightily because now we've got the bad sniffles.
Right.
Yeah, but
All I
So he
know is-
wasn't even good at
He
creating
really
a killer
belongs
bug.
behind bars.
Chris, I mean, if worldwide over 1 million people did die from this, so I think
hold on,
Fauci.
hold on, hold on. That's
no.
good. Let me, Chris,
Out
that
of
was a good point.
$7.5 billion.
Yeah, I agree with you, but
No, not even saying that.
I'm trying. My point is, before you come off, my point is Fauci does have a lot of blood in his hands.
He doesn't. But by the way, we were supposed to have 2.5 million Americans die the first year. You're talking 1 million worldwide.
It's not
which
even
is,
that. It's not even that because
They're working on it, Heshy.
Look, I will tell you something. I have a family. I have a family
They're
member right
working
now.
on it.
I have a family member right now in the hospital dealing with serious medical conditions in California. Now he tested positive for COVID, so that's the only thing they care about. Is
I heard that
it's gotta have-
70%.
it's gotta have-
It's not even a reliable test.
But I heard 70% of the people now that die of COVID had underlying conditions, like 3 or 4 of them.
Exactly.
That's when they're-
99%
We knew this from the
of people
beginning.
who died with COVID already knew this. We knew this in February of 2020.
It was a
This is not
monetary
news.
gain.
All I know is I don't know how to stop it. It's getting crazy, Christopher. I don't like it.
Everyone just has to say no. As the pastor said, what I've been saying all along, if every restaurant owner, if everyone in New York said, no, I'm not going to ask someone to show me a piece of paper.
Right.
No, I'm not doing that. You're arresting all of us? It's ridiculous.
It's not just the restaurant owners.
Hold on, Chris.
It's everybody needs to stand
that's
up.
what I mean. It's everything. If everyone said no,
Everybody.
what are they going to do? Arrest everyone?
Customers.
Yes. But Christopher, they arrested last week a girl with cerebral palsy in a wheelchair that went for a birthday dinner, and she wanted a meal.
Because it was only one tiny little group.
And
But if they had a throng of 1,000 people showing up, 2,000 people, and all of them were standing up united, not this one girl with the cerebral palsy, not this one guy going into Burger King. If everybody stood up, not just Uncle Heshy, if Ezra stood up and Sawyer stood up and Chris stood up and everybody stood up, it can't just be even just us. It has to be everybody. Everybody has to go and say, I'm willing to get arrested. I'm not going to be able to go to work tomorrow. I'm going to have an arrest record. People don't want to have an arrest record.
It's not a matter of the arrest record. It's not a matter of the arrest record.
It's not a bad thing nowadays. You should wear it with pride.
No, it's not a matter of that anymore. It's a matter of, you have to understand, small businesses have suffered tremendously.
They can't take anymore.
And that's the problem.
They're begging to come back. Even the fines that were reduced, they're still trying.
This de Blasio version 2 get into office.
You're 100% correct, and I'll tell you what's even worse.
It's ridiculous.
We have a gentleman by the name...
Inspectors for what?
The problem is, honestly, Eric Adams is not the biggest problem today. The biggest problem is the people like Alvin Bragg, because they sold...
Oh my God!
Because when the financial capital of the world is now open to anyone who wants to commit a crime short of a homicide, and get away with it, we're in big trouble. Because this is, I mean,
it's crazy.
Is gone. New York City is gone. The financial district is going to be closing.
Now,
nobody's going to want to be there.
Before we come to the end of the show,
that's my industry. You know where half of them all work now? They're all down here. They're in Florida. Because with the internet and telephones, we can be anywhere.
I will tell you.
I haven't gone to an office on Wall Street in 15 years.
Exactly. Nobody works.
They're ready to be there.
Nobody goes to offices.
You know, just for your knowledge, Hochul, you know who this idiot woman is. I mean, she leads.
Oh my God, she's terrifying.
I know. She leads. Thank God she's beating at least that idiot, de Blasio.
Well, de Blasio decided not to run.
Oh, he's not?
He decided.
When did he say that?
He wasn't going to win. No, he wasn't going to run. He never had a chance.
He announced yesterday he's
he
not
and his
running.
wife
He's
are
not
going to
try to
take
get
the $1 billion in Thrive money they stole and go live with it in Belize, which
I
is
didn't
an
know that.
non-extradition country.
They were weighing the money.
I didn't know that.
How much more money he could steal, and he decided, I'm good with the $1 billion.
He says he's going to be pushing for
billions enough. I stole it.
He's
I wanna give
pushing
you
for
guys-
equality and equity, but he's not going to run for governor because he can't. He realized after running, when he ran for president, when it costs
That he wasn't liked?
It costs too much money to only have 4 people in the room.
Right.
So, I mean,
But I want you to know, Hochul leads the Democratic primary challenges by 30 points, and that is a problem for us. But I believe now, with only her running against Andrew Giuliani and your friend, what's his name again?
Estorino. Everyone has got to line up. Andrew might be a nice kid. He does not have the experience.
But
he is
still-
not the right one to take her
Anthony
on.
Zeldin also
but I
running.
believe-
So I mean, there are very formidable Republicans. A good thing about the Republicans running, even Andrew Giuliani, they're all better than what the alternative is, and they're all and these guys and really whoever wins the Republican nomination, there will be solidarity this time in the Republican Party. They've all made that clear.
There should be solidarity across all New Yorkers. How much more pain does my home state have to endure?
Chris,
Because we're throwing off the shackles of these idiots.
You moved to 2A, to 2A. But the thing is, I agree with you. Look.
I did. I threw in the towel.
I don't blame you.
14% of money without paying it to those idiots who are just taking it and destroying me.
I will tell you, I've said this many times, even to my wife. If it wasn't that our kids are in the schools that they are, and we really can't move them from them, I would be moving to Florida instead of renovating a house in Brooklyn.
I know. My friend told me today, please go. But one more thing before we go, Chris, and I like your input on this. What will Andrew Cuomo do with the 16 million? Listen to the number again: 16 million in campaign funds he's still sitting on. I mean, he can't pocket it. He has to either.
He can pocket it under election law. He can pocket it.
No, he has to run for something first.
Right, he has to run.
So he'll run for dog catcher.
He'll run for dog catcher of some stupid town, and sadly he'll win, and then he'll be bummed.
Right. Because here he resigned.
Once again, doesn't have to be used in New York.
In his life.
It has to be right in another campaign.
He raised the money. Didn't he raise the money?
It's under
He can run for head of meter maids in Utica.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
He has to
doesn't have to
either
win.
lose a campaign or he has to finish his term. He cannot resign and keep the money.
Right.
Like Ina Vernikova, she has $15,000.
So he's going to run for something that has the
So he's
shortest
going to bribe somebody to keep it. He's going to bribe
time
somebody
lapse.
to keep it on the down low when he runs.
He's just keeping an eye, right? Somewhere across the state of New York, actuarially, someone is going to die or resign from an elected position, and he's hoping that there's like 6 weeks left to run in that term, and he can spend the money to run, he can win, and he can be out in 4 weeks.
Wow, you are beautiful. I love you, Chris. Chris, how is
That's
the
what I do.
family before we say goodbye? How is the family?
Family's doing great. Everyone's cranking along. It is a wonderful thing to be here because
I know.
it's just, as the pastor was saying, I mean, he's dealing with a hostile environment. We live in this weird thing called a free state. It might as well be November 2019 for all anyone notices this nonsense. We only talk about it when we go somewhere and come back and like, they're crazy.
I know. Well, you are
It's
great.
nuts.
I love
There's
you.
nothing rational about it.
When are you coming to us in New York?
No, he's not coming back here. He wants us to come to him, man.
He's going to come visit us again.
No.
Sadly, when I was up there last time, we left on Wednesday, so I couldn't join the show. But the kids wanted to see their grandparents. That was fun, and we went to the Natural History Museum. But this kabuki theater of lining up to show some bored guard a piece of paper he doesn't care about.
They don't even look at
Ridiculous.
it. They don't even look at it.
Why would you? It's stupid.
Well, you're great.
Anyway, good to
Christopher.
see you all, guys.
Thank you, baby. We love you
Good
so
night.
much. Good night, everybody. Everybody, thank you for listening
Good
to the
night.
show. We want to thank the pastor, thank Chris, thank Sawyer for ranting and raving about we don't even know what.
Thank
That was a
Ezra.
really good rant. It was very cohesive and punchy.
I know. and Ezra, as always, beautiful, handsome, intelligent, and smart, and articulate, and he actually likes me. Watch my show next Wednesday night. Welcome back, everybody.
night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.